Hi, I'm Jordan McCrory with the JTAC News, and today we are with Luke Wade, all famous Luke Wade. So how's your tour going so far?
It's going well. Do I like this? Just kidding. No, it's been great. It's everything, like it's better than I ever hoped it could be. I get to hang out with my friends and be on the road and meet our fans, which happen to be across the board pretty awesome, and see lots of cool places. It's fantastic.
Awesome. So are you glad to be performing back in your old stomping grounds?
Of course. It's homecoming is kind of is always what you look forward to, playing for your friends and your family and your roots.
Right. Okay, so we're going to talk about Post Voice. What have you taken from The Voice, and how are you applying that to your performance, in the future in music?
Well, I learned a lot about myself and what, where, like, my talents and what happens when I focus them in the right way. I learned a lot about people's attention span and the way that the way that we did 90 seconds. Like 90 seconds is really, if you use it correctly, it's enough for people to really get a feel for what you do. And so you kind of think about things in terms of what grabs people's attention a little bit more, because it's not about you and it's not necessarily about them, but it's about creating those great moments. And so when we go up on stage and we're on tour, we want to make sure that we create a lot of those moments for people that we'll all remember and take with us. So I learned that from the entertainment side of things, but a lot about how to conduct myself. There are people that really care about people, and there's a certain way to communicate that, and I've taken that from the situation.
Awesome. Okay, so are you and Pharrell still friends, keeping in touch? How is that relationship?
We're pen pals. We mostly write letters because we feel it's more personal.
Are you serious about that? You really write letters to each other?
No, we don't. No, we stay in touch, and he's been really busy and running, as you might expect, and but I think that I'm confident that we're gonna work together, and not too terribly long from now. So we're getting all the details for that squared away.
Awesome. So all your Lukified fans are excited to have you here. Is there anything new in the works that you get to show them tonight, or anything new?
We're playing 2 brand new songs.
Is this the first time them coming out? Is this the first time hearing them ever?
No, we added them to the set, a bit ago, but they're to everyone who's here, they'll be new.
Awesome. All right, so in every state that you've gone to, how is the audience different in different states? How do you adapt to that?
Well, it's kind of interesting. There's more heavily television audiences. There are fans that have gone out and have transitioned themselves from being television show audiences to or fans to being fans of what I do specifically. And so places we go, the population of the people who know our music is high, is more and less, and that kind of determines their reactions to things. Mm-hmm. And their expectations for what we're doing. So I think ultimately it's about consistency and doing our very best to put on the show and kind of let them decide. And sometimes they'll need a little bit of extra push. I'll get down in the crowd or get on one knee, or maybe do a little point a little bit more. But but Texas this is a really long answer, but people in Texas have a tendency, they gravitate towards each other, right? Because we dance together. There's honky tonks. That doesn't exist everywhere else. Yeah. It's not a thing where people dance together. And so, even as close as Oklahoma City, they're more they want to engage you more than want to engage each other. Right. And so there are differences like that from state to state. So when you get outside of Texas, there's a lot more attention towards the band and not necessarily towards each other. And it's and I didn't notice it until I left, but that's a very Texas thing.
Right. So do you like that better than other? Is Texas still your favorite state to play in?
Texas is definitely, I've had the most time here to accumulate the fans of what we do, and also like friends and lasting relationships. And so when we tour, when we play shows here, it's a gathering of those personalities and people. So I obviously love that the most.
Right.
But listening culture, like there are places where like the music, like a show is more about sitting and watching. And so it's like it's interesting at first. Like I think I like it better because it's new.
Right.
But it's not always as fun.
Right.
Yeah, like Stephenville is rowdy. It's a rowdy party. So, I mean, like I guess the best way to do it is that it's the variety is what makes it worth doing. Like going and seeing how people relate to you.
I got you. So, where does the passion for your music come from? And who influences you?
It's your eyes mostly.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, what influences me? I guess other musicians, people who are passionate about their crafts. Producers and artists, and from that to writers. I feel art. It really inspires me to make art. Well, I'll be listening to someone. Like a lot of the stuff I write is, I'll be listening to a song and it reminds me of something that the song's not even about, and I'll write that down. And so it just kind of, I think it's an endless cycle of inspiration where through life becomes art becomes life, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of, I feel like I've found my place within that cycle of things.
So who's your favorite artist? Like, who do you look up to in the music industry?
In the music industry, I'm trying to think who I really look up to. I can tell you who I've been listening to.
Okay.
I've been listening to a lot of pop music because that's kind of where my head's at, and that's kind of where I'm aiming. Like just musically, Bruno Mars has a great vision for what he wants to do, and like guys like Nick Jonas and Sam Smith all have like a very specific and poignant like place that they're pointing with their collection of songs and the way that they're presenting them. But I mean, the people who really inspire me are the people like Ben Harper, who just does whatever he wants and doesn't really care about being commercial. Like that's really what inspires me. But I don't listen to Ben Harper that much, like, to be perfectly honest. So it's kind of interesting the way that works. But he's like, gosh, I'm talking so much tonight. But I guess Pharrell.
Okay, I'm just gonna go Pharrell. So going through hardships of up and coming artist, was there ever a time when you wanted to give up and give it all away?
I would say like bi-monthly.
Monthly?
Bi-monthly, like twice a month. Generally, yeah. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
And whenever you're your own product, you're having to sell yourself, and you have to, convince yourself that you're worth continuing to try. And ultimately, the thing that keeps you on track is your support system. If I didn't have people who loved me and believed in me, I wouldn't have made it to the point where things kind of started taking off. And that's just the flat out plain fact of the matter. And that it's really putting yourself out there and being honest, like wanting to be honest with people about who you are in an artistic way. Is there's a lot of really high highs and there's a lot of really low lows, and you have to be able to weather that.
Right. So if Luke Wade the artist wasn't a thing, what do you think you'd be doing besides music right now if you didn't get into the music industry?
Oh gosh, I would probably be an entrepreneur of some kind. I have lots of ideas and things that I could implement and then I could put myself behind and turn into something if that was where my energy and my mind was. And I think that's probably what I would do. I would make stuff, but it would be like just be a different kind of stuff.
Good stuff. Would you be on like Shark Tank or something and try to sell your stuff?
I've actually some of the producers on The Voice were producers at Shark Tank. Okay. I was telling them about some ideas and like just get that, get that. They're like, that's awesome. Like get that, get it worked up and get some of your products done, and call us and we'll get you on the show. So it's still I might Shark Tank it up. You never know.
Double feature on TV. So what was the defining moment that made you decide to become an artist?
Well, the defining moment, that's an interesting question. Well, For me, it was a really slow burn and slow progression. It was an accident, really.
Okay.
I had a lot of things that I have a lot of things that I want to say, and and it's a lot less annoying whenever it happens in a song. And so I started doing that, and then people still weren't listening. So I was like, well, maybe I have to get good at music, and then people will listen. And so hopefully here we are.
All right, one last question. What are your hopes for the future, and where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years? Well, I see myself transition, like using this as a springboard to not necessarily something greater or bigger, but something more honest to who I am. You know, I think that there are millions and millions of people who know who I am now, and I think that it's an opportunity for me to find millions and millions of more people that I'm meant to connect with, and then continue making stuff for them and nurturing that relationship through what I do.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking time to interview with us, and we hope you have a great concert tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.